You are in big trouble, Alexander Zverev, and I'm going to show you why today. If anybody's watching this video right now and they want to send this to him, we can help. We can help him transform his serve, and it won't take very long. Hi, my name is Jeff Salzenstein. I'm the founder of Tennis Evolution, one of the leading online tennis instruction websites in the world, and I've got a treat for you today. We're going to take a look at Alexander Zverev's serve and Gill Gross, who's one of the top analysts on YouTube. Guy does amazing work. I periodically go on and do YouTube videos with him. We broke down Zverev's serve. We broke down why his toss is off, why his toss is too high, and what is lacking in his serve. And it's the thing that is going to keep him from winning Grand Slam. So let's jump into that analysis right now.
Part of this is about having repeatable mechanics that you're comfortable with. So, Jeff, what do you see in Zverev's serve mechanically right now?
So there's a lot going on here. And I was telling you earlier that, gosh, this guy's so talented that I feel confident. You know, I've been studying the serve as a player and as a coach for 25, 30 years now. Like, it's just in my DNA. I feel like if I had an hour with this guy, we could do great work if he was open-minded to it. And where we would start is, the first thing is, and you notice this, Gil, but when he releases the ball, there's no shoulder turn happening. And this is something I've seen for a couple of years. I've mentioned this, but he almost has this inverse shoulder deal going. The dominant hitting side shoulder right here is actually to the right of his tossing arm. Now, if we were to do a side-by-side of Federer at this stage of the swing right here, this is what I always look for, is what's happening when the ball is released. His tossing arm, it's almost like it's going forward towards the net, straight towards the net. And that is a recipe for disaster in terms of building rhythm and tempo. At this stage of the swing, we would already see this hitting side shoulder, the dominant shoulder for Federer. We would see it to the left of the tossing arm, and we'd see this tossing arm, or this tossing arm shoulder, it would be going out more towards this net post over here, or even almost parallel to the baseline. So you'd see much more pronounced shoulder turn earlier in the motion.
So, Jeff, eventually he's going to turn his shoulders here, but it's about how late it happens.
Yeah, I mean, look, the ball is 4 feet out of his hand, and there is no movement in the arm, which again tells me there's no connection in his body right now. The shoulders, the arms, the turn, there's no coil in the hips. I mean, there's just a complete disjointed motion, and it makes sense to me why this thing is breaking down.
If you go back to where he releases the ball, let's look at the right arm now, because we focused on the shoulders and the hip turn. The right arm has so much work to do when he releases the ball.
It's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, and look at, this is another thing, and I want to show a close up of his serve next, where there's a front view, but look at how straight his dominant arm is. This is something I always teach. When you have a straight arm, what do you have? Tension. When your arm is slightly bent, you're going to have a relaxed arm. So yes, it's okay to have your arm straight at the beginning of the motion like this, but by right now, it should be bending, getting to the trophy position, and it's still very straight at this stage of the motion. You see Federer with a straight arm, and then right about here, he gets right to his trophy, and he is ready to fire up to the ball.
Right now, the ball is it even at its highest point? Let's see when this drops.
There's your highest point right there.
And Zverev, you know, his right arm, it's not really, he doesn't have that right angle yet.
There's no right angle. There's no turn. There's not a lot of load in the hips. I mean, it's hard to see, but he even has a little bit of a curve in his low back. We call this an S posture. That's a big sign that he's not using his hips and his pelvis correctly. So, you know, we looked at serves from the US Open, and his toss is dramatically, it's probably 2 feet higher than it was, and it was already a high toss before. But if this is the peak here, look at how much it drops before he makes contact. We're at 3 to 4 feet there.
So Jeff, I'll put up the US Open side by side in post production so people will be able to see how much lower his toss was. But again, another thing that we just talked about, which is getting the right angle of the racket arm in the trophy position, eventually it happens. And that's kind of a common theme in his serve, that eventually he gets to the right spot. It's just very late. So that means he requires extra time, and he buys that time in the toss. And that's probably why we see this incredibly high toss, right?
Yes, he's moving so slow with his dominant arm, so then he's going to toss it higher to allow it to get into position. And you see here, he has a good shoulder turn. He has not a lot of hip turn, but that's because he has a pinpoint stance. So that's not as big a deal. What's the bigger deal is how long it takes his serve to develop to get to that trophy position. It reminds me a lot of Maria Sharapova, and we know she had the yips on her serve. So I don't think it's an accident that a high toss and a late developing serve getting into trophy position can translate into some really bad double faults.
I like this because other people have pointed out how high the toss looks right now, but they haven't really gotten into why it is so high. And I think we've done that here. What are the side effects, in your opinion, when the ball is dropping at a rapid rate by the time you reach your contact point? What are the consequences of that?
So that's a great question. The way I look at it is sometimes when I don't have the answer, I say, okay, can we just model the best players in the world and see what they do and find the commonalities? And again, I think you could argue that Roddick, Sampras, Federer have some of the best serves of all time. And there are different serves out there that are amazing, but let's just put them in a bucket. And if you studied how far their tosses drop, a lot of people think you're supposed to get the ball at the peak. That's not the case. The ball should actually drop, I would say, about 12 to 18 inches. So he should be making contact about right there if his toss was significantly lower. So you want to be aware of having a slight drop in the toss. And by having it drop so much and descending so much, which was your original question, for me, my obvious answer, which we've alluded to before, is it takes so much timing to get the rhythm right when the ball is so much higher and it's dropping so much, and you have to find a way to meet the ball at the right time. Also, I think because the rhythm is off, again, it may give you more time to think about the serve because you're waiting for the darn ball to come down. So I don't know, Gil, if you want to piggyback on that, you might have some reasons why you think it causes problems. But the first thing I go to is look at what the best do and see if you can model them, even if you don't know the answer.
Well, you just have me thinking. You have me running through the names of the best serves on tour, and you're right. You don't find a toss like this. You have, a Nick Kyrgios, a John Isner, a Milos Raonic. They all have somewhat low tosses, especially Kyrgios, especially Isner. The ball, it's dropping a little, but not much. If you want to look at the other side for a little bit of balance, Juan Martín del Potro has an extremely high ball toss. And Tomas Berdych had a very high ball toss, but he had double faulting issues.
As you can see, Alexander Zverev has a lot of problems with his serves. He's double faulting like crazy. His mechanics and his mindset are totally off. And I'd love to be able to help him and his team. I don't need to be the coach. I'll just be the hired gun to go in and help him transform this serve. And with his ability level, he could change it very fast with the drills and progressions I could help him with. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up. Click the link in the description below if you want more serve lessons that can help you go to the next level. We've got a free gift to give you, Tennis Evolution app. We offer a free membership with 21 lessons, and a few of those lessons will give you the drills and the progressions. Even one of the drills is going to help Zverev. Maybe he needs to download the app so that he can get the elbow the enemy lesson. Anyway, click the link below or somewhere in this video to pick up that free membership and improve your serve and the rest of your game.